The HCJ Builder template is the most powerful of the screens available to MadLearn app builders, yet it can be very easy to use. These screens use actual written code to create more dynamic and engaging elements for your app. These code sets include HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language, CSS, or Cascading Style Sheet, and JavaScript. Let's start by looking at a few of the ways this template can be used by exploring an app called HCJ Code Demos. Here you can see how different kinds of screens will look once they're built, and use the examples to either copy them exactly or customize them. For example, here's an interesting way to display photos. You can add animations and games. You can also create custom quizzes. Notice how the home screen of this app, available on MadStore, is divided into various categories. These button names match the folder titles found in a resource we'll look at in just a moment. To begin working with the HCJ Builder, open it just as you have done with other templates and click the Open Properties button. You see three fields ready to accept code that you import or write: HTML, CSS, and JS for JavaScript. Notice that two of the fields already contain code, and that the workspace displays what the screen will look like with those lines of code. Let's get started in making a simple quiz. First of all, we'll name the screen. Next, we want to delete the lines of code that have been used as placeholders. Now we're ready to bring in new lines of code from MadLearn's exclusive Code Sets library. Just click the button in the upper right to access the collection. Here you can see a variety of themes arranged into folders. You may recognize the names of the folders matching the buttons on that home screen I showed you earlier. To use any of the code sets, just select the appropriate folder, then the code set that you want to use. We'll use this set. Select it to see the code that makes up the original quiz that you saw earlier. Now, just select and copy the lines of HTML code in this document. Be careful to select only the lines that appear between the HTML label and the CSS label. Now return to the template and paste those lines of code into the HTML field. Return to the document and repeat the process for the lines of CSS code. Select, copy, return to the platform, and paste these lines of code into the CSS field. Last but not least, do the same with the JavaScript code. Once all of the codes have been imported to the template, click the Run button and see how it looks. If it works, you can next customize the content of the screen by finding the content elements within the code. You may have noticed that parts of the code in the document were highlighted in yellow. These are the content elements. Be sure to save the screen and run the preview again to see the changes you made. There are so many things that can be done with this template. These screens can be done simply by copying and pasting text, or you can customize the codes by changing HTML elements for content, CSS elements for layout changes, even actions controlled by JavaScript. So be sure to explore the HCJ Code Demos app first. Then decide which screens you want to build, and be creative.